Today is a very special day on Street Ride because we have a new addition to the Audi family. Today, we're gonna be adding 034 Motorsport springs. Alright, yes, today we're going to be doing some lowering springs from 034 Motorsport. So we add them to the Audi. I was looking around trying to find videos on how to do it. I've seen some videos where they kind of start showing it and then they stop showing it or whatnot. I'm going to hopefully be able to give you an actual video of installing these springs on the B9 S5. I'm sure it's probably very similar to the B9 S4. I ordered more parts, but so far only the springs came in today. I was supposed to get some more parts. But like FedEx always does, they just don't deliver. No pun intended. The goal is to help stabilize your S5 and get more power to the ground to help with these tunes get better quarter-mile times. So without wasting too much time, let's go ahead and get into this install. And as you know, just street rides. All right, so first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna loosen the 313mm screws around the top of the strut. I do not have the dynamic suspension, so if you had that, then there'd be a wire to disconnect here. Unfortunately, I don't have that, and I don't know everything that comes with that system, so I won't be able to point out things like that. I can give you a kind of a guide a little bit, but if you have the dynamic suspension, you may want to have another video or another guide to help you with doing your own lowering springs. So I'm gonna go ahead and take these off now, and hopefully they're not too tight. Oh, and they're not. Quick tug and they come right off. But if they are tight, I like to use another wrench or leverage. I kind of do it like this. I don't know if it's focusing. And I just put it on and grab the top of this part of the wrench, and it's easier. Look at that, super easy. Looks like I'm gonna have to get my socket for this back one here though. Can't really get on it without removing that. So I'll go get my ratchet wrench or my socket and put it on there and loosen it up. Okay, so when I get back, it'll be loosened. Like I said, I did not remove the screws, only loosen them. And I actually just used my wrench. I just went underneath here. And like I said, it's not that hard to loosen. So, you know, I was able to give it a couple bops and it came right out. So I'm trying to do this without power tools. I know some people don't have power tools, and we'll just see how far we can get with the most simplistic tools that we have. So that's loosened. We're gonna go down to the bottom. We're going to see what we need to remove next and hopefully get this out sooner than later. If you ever wanted to know how much the stock 19-inch wheels weigh, 51.6 pounds. Oh, it's gone. I guess now would be a good time to finally clean these calipers, but it is time for new brakes. My God, who would have thought it? Oh, brake upgrade coming. All right, next we're gonna go ahead and remove the lower part of the strut assembly. Right here, there we go. Sorry, I'm in an awkward position. The nut here, it's an 18 on this side. I don't know why I heard somewhere it was a 17, but the 18 is what fits on here for me. And I'll show you, if you're trying to use no power tools, a way to get it off if it's a little stuck. And basically what I do is, as usual, showed you this before, I'll show you again, is I go ahead and put the 18 on there straight up like that. And so if you can see it right there. And what I do is I get another wrench. Now I'm holding the lower part, just keep the wrench steady. And I just put that on there. Little mechanic trick. And what that does is it gives me more leverage for that the nut down there or the bolt down there. So I'll just pull it using one hand. Maybe I should use two. Let me back up a little bit. And there it turns. Now let me see if it's turning on both sides. So let me set this back up again. Probably is. Oh no, it's not turning on both sides. It's slowly coming, but it's coming. All right, yeah, it's coming slowly but surely. Quick correction, there is a nut on this side that will spin with it. So You will have to put an 18 on this side. Now I'm just kind of lightly putting this back on because when it comes to suspension parts, I don't like to remove all the bolts and nuts if I don't have to, just in case something shifts and it's hard to line it back up and it wasn't required to come off. So I just loosen that for now, and then if I have to remove it later, I'll let you know. So next, what we're going to look at is this linkage right here that goes down to this, I don't know the exact name for it. This, you're gonna want to remove this nut right here and this bolt, you're gonna remove it out of here. It's a 5/8, or you can use a, let me take that out so it will stop trying to focus. It's a 5/8, and you can use a 16mm wrench or socket as well. They both work just fine. The bottom part, you're just gonna loosen it. So you can see it down there a little bit. Gonna loosen that right there, and then the nut on the other side, you can see it there. I'm gonna take a rubber mallet and kind of pop this back till it comes out. It seems like it's gonna come out even without that, but for time's sake, instead of wiggling, I'm just gonna tap it with the rubber mallet. All right, pro tip for you, if you're having a hard time getting this out, you can kind of turn the wheel a little bit, and it'll give you a little bit more space to get this out, and then it should just fall to the side like that. But you can try and turn the wheel a little bit to give you more space between the back of here and this part of the car. All right, so I think we only got a few more bolts to go. So we have this stretch bolt here that I'm going to do last, unless I can find a reason why I wouldn't. And then if you look up here, we have a long bolt that goes through here, and we'll have to take that out and lift these up so we can maneuver around getting the shock out, because the shock is way up there. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and do those steps, and then I'll let you know what parts or what tools I used. All right, so it doesn't matter which order you do it in. I'm just gonna tell you what all I did. 16s or 5/8 all the way around. So the last two were 16s and 5/8. You can use either one and you'll get it out. Now, a couple of pro tips for you. Obviously, this is a very long bolt that goes through here. Once I got the nut off, I basically took a mallet, rubber hammer mallet, and tapped it and pretty much knocked it to where it was this far, and it was kind of stuck. So I just took a screwdriver, put it in this end, and pop, and it came right out, no problem. No damage. Don't worry about damaging it. It's not gonna happen like that. When it comes to this one, you'll notice that there is a brake line right here in the way. You may have to, turn the wheel a little bit, and you can turn the wheel from here. You don't have to go into the car. As you see, I'm turning it, but turn it and you'll be able to get a good angle to where you might have to apply a little bit of pressure up, and you'll sneak the bolt underneath, or if you turn it enough, it'll come right out underneath. So pretty much everything is out, the pressure bolts. And I'm gonna provide a link to get new bolts to replace the bolts that you're gonna be removing if you're the type of person that like to have fresh bolts in the car, especially in your suspension. So I'll provide that link on where you can get the new bolts from, everything like that. So we're just about ready to get this shock out of here. The next thing we need to do is pop out these ball joints and loosen this up a little bit by prying in between here. If you can see here, pry right here to open this up a little bit so you can slide this part of the strut out of this brace right here. So that's what we're gonna try and do. I'm gonna now take out this bolt right here. Sorry, lighting is terrible, but right here, you can see it. Right there. Yep, I'm gonna take that out now. All right, I'm gonna try to hold the light while we do this so you'll get a good view. So the ball joints came out very easily. Just got my rubber mallet, kind of just tapped on them a little bit. They came up, no real effort. They just came right on out. Then you want to make sure you're holding the, sorry, the name of it slips me right now, but you want to make sure you're holding this so that when it drops down from the ball joints here, it doesn't just slam. You just hold it, it's not heavy, and then just let it kind of fall. And that pretty much gives us all the space we need to get the shock out, or strut. And we just got to open that up, make sure that has enough space, and that should slide right on out. So I'm going to go ahead and attempt to do that, and let's get this thing out. Hopefully the next time I turn this camera back on, it'll be out and be ready to disassemble the strut. I know I said the next time I turn the camera on, I want the strut to be out, but I felt like it was a kind of a teaching moment. So after prying this open a little bit, I took my rubber mallet and I just smacked on it, with some force. Probably the hardest thing I've had to hit in here. And it slides down, and you can see where it used to be, how far up it was. Slides down, and now the strut, besides the screws holding it up top, it'd be ready to come out now. You just got those screws up top holding it. So yes, it will be out after this. All right, so here is the strut assembly in all its glory. You have your spring, you have your shock absorber, and all that, and then you have the cap here. So this is where you're going to need special tools if you don't already have them. You're going to need a spring compressor. You can get that at your local automotive store. I got mine from Advanced Auto Parts, and I lost it. No, I didn't. It's right here. So here it is right here. All right, and they'll clamp on, and I'll tighten down, and it'll compress the spring and take a lot of the stress off of this whole assembly. Then we're going to have to get creative with removing the top of the shock assembly. Now, mine's actually left this cover in the car. I just took it off so you guys would see it. So let me go ahead and take it off now. There. But then you're gonna see, if we can focus, this one actually has an Allen key that goes in here. I know some of them are what they call triple square bits or whatever. Mine's is not that, it's actually an Allen key. And then there's a 3/4 or 19 millimeter nut inside of here. I was trying to see if this cover pries off, but it was being a little difficult. So I'm gonna see if I can get this shock off. I don't have a wrench that will go down in here like this. Now I could probably use the open-ended side and maybe have the Allen key in here and try and twist it that way. That might work. That's probably one of the best ways to go about it. I'm gonna see if there's another way. It might be a little easier for people who don't have those tools. If not, I'll just let you know that you need to go and get those tools, okay? Okay, so I have to stop for a second. I know my face is all dirty, but I have to say that when you're working with a shock and spring, it's very dangerous. Make sure that you're following all the safety precautions that come with the tools that you're using to take off the shock. That being said, unfortunately, I cannot, in good faith, show you how I took the shock off, knowing that the information I give you, someone could take it, use it, and hurt themselves. Like I've told in the past, I've been doing mechanic work for a long time with vehicles that literally would kill you in the military, and I just can't show you what I did. I would feel bad if somebody took what I did and didn't do it exactly how I did it and hurt themselves. So therefore, if you want to know how I did it, and we can have a one-on-one conversation with you doing it, then find me on Instagram, let me know when you're gonna do your project, and if you have tried everything you're supposed to try to get it off, then we can talk about how I did it and how I got it off. I did not have the proper tools to do it, okay? I had some tools that could kind of get the job done, and I was able to do it, so that's all I'm gonna say. But ultimately, here it is. It is pretty much out. See? Got it. So with that being said, what you're supposed to do is get an Allen key. I'm not entirely sure what size Allen key it is that fits inside of there because I didn't have an Allen key. But I will tell you it is a 3/4 19 millimeter nut that's on there. In theory, you're supposed to have a box end that has a certain offset that fits inside that hole. And then you have your Allen key that would basically go down into the shock, and then you would twist that part off. I didn't have that. I did it a different way. I just don't feel good in good faith. Someone gets hurt showing you what I did. Like I said, hit me on IG. We'll talk about it. But once again, I just can't throw it out there in the world to follow. But hey, I got it off. I'm gonna put this back together. Put the 034 spring onto the strut, tighten it down, show it to you. I'm gonna call it a night, but the video will continue, right? As you can see, the spring is on the strut. I did not need the clamps or the spring clamps to put it on. Pretty much, it's a lowered spring, so it's gonna fit on there easily. And I just tightened down the top nut there. It can be done without power tools, I will tell you that. So we're gonna put this back on the car and do the other side. All right, it's day 2. I did do the front shocks. They are finished on both sides. Working on the rear, and I saved the side so I can show you how to install this. Now, I did look online and I seen there was really no one showing you how to install this. Do I have a black mustache? So I promise you I took a bath and it's the next day. Tips for the front. I had a hard time putting the driver's side shock, getting the ball joints, the top ball joints to pop out, and I did get a dead blow hammer. I have one, beat on it a little bit, and I'm gonna recommend that you guys get a dead blow hammer so that you can, if you have any stuck ball joints, you can knock them out. So I'm about to start on these rears. Actually, I've already done one side. To make it easier and look like I know what I'm doing, we're gonna do the second side now. And I'm gonna recommend you get a friend. There's my friend. So get a friend, and you're probably gonna need a jack. Unless your friend's really strong or your friend's name is Steve Rogers. And get a jack that goes high. I have a baby jack. You just get like a wood block if anything. But I'll explain to you why that's important. And yes, I've been doing this all day and light is gone. The only reason why I've been doing it all day is because I had a daughter that stole the tool. Now it doesn't take all day to do it, okay? I did find my tool though. All right, so to remove the spring that we want right here, okay? We're going to take off this 18mm bolt and nut for this shock. We're gonna loosen this one out. We're not gonna take it out, we're just gonna loosen it up. And then we're gonna take this camber adjusted nut or whatever off. Before you take it off, what I would recommend is getting a permanent marker or paint pen and just make like 3 marks. So that'll help you line up the washer when you go to put it back. So you'll have a decent alignment, and then you would take it to get aligned after that. So I just make a couple marks on there. Once you take those 3 off, this spring will come out. Now, what I would do is put a jack once you remove this. Yeah, so with these, I can actually demonstrate that. Just going to slip your screwdriver in here and pry this forward. A little bit of a pain, but it will come like that. There's some dirt in there. There. And then do the same thing over here.
Press it in between, not against the metal.
Yeah, in between. You can do the against the metal after this part comes out, after the top part comes out. It is a little bit of a pain when the dirt's in there. Patient with it, it should come out. There it goes. That's it, and then this hole. Now you have to take this off because you can't get to the nut on the back of that without it. And if I'm not mistaken, this has to slide back. Maybe
it's opposite the other side.
Yeah, so see the hooks here? And then you just slide it back and it comes out. And then now you have access to the nut on the back of the shock. All right, so we're gonna just do all that. There's a little bit of tension, so I would keep a jack underneath here and then slowly let the jack down so to slowly depress the spring, and we can just take the spring out. And that's what we're gonna do.
What he's not telling you is that's not the right size. That's a 19. The bolt's a 18. He's using a 12 point and just pulling down and twisting.
Listen, stop giving my secrets away.
Hey, as long as one side catches.
Where's my hammer?
Which one?
Dead below.
Right here.
Push up on the shock a little bit.
Yeah. Also, I realized it's smarter to take that one out too first before the other ones.
This is so dangerous. Look at me under the car. This is so dangerous.
Very. Good thing we don't have Harbor Freight jack stands. Yeah, that's definitely should be good enough. Alright, now on to the main attraction. Ooh, what's in the exhaust? What's in the exhaust? What's in the exhaust? Nothing.
No, it'll eventually come out far enough to where it'll spin both sides. But you'll see that spin if it has an RP. See? But on the other side, it's not a 13/16, it's a 18 mil. I don't know what that equivalates to in metric, so just know that. Let me just take, no.
13/16, so 18 millimeter.
This is gonna come all the way out, but we're gonna put the jack underneath of it before we get to that point. Take this out, this nut and bolt, because it takes a lot of pressure off of this. Also, like I said, make sure your jack is underneath here when you're letting this down, because the spring is going to want to depress. We don't want it to just throw this on the ground and fly out. Once all the bolts are out, you just slowly let this down and the spring will come out. That's pretty much it. So we're going to move these end caps to the new spring and put it back up and let the car back down.
Said new spring, who this? Peekaboo. New Nardo gray springs.
Right? Nardo gray springs.
All right, we're doing the last hardest part.
There we go.
And we're done.
Yes. Our lines did not line up at all, so we're going to need an alignment, but whatever. That part is done.
I got paid to play today. I get paid to stay away. I get paid on rainy days. I might make it rain today. I got paid off pain today. Thought it'd take the pain away. In my own lane, finger roll.
Well, it's all come to this. As we can see, this is what it looks like after the first day or so. This is obviously the next day. Not enough miles on it to really comment about the ride. Obviously it's really stiffer right now, but you know, it takes time for the springs to kind of break in. There's the install. I will be doing another install for the rear sub mounts inserts that I have and the rear diff inserts that I have. Because I'll have to lower the exhaust, I'm gonna wait until I get an exhaust to replace before I do the install with those, since I can knock it all out at once. So that video will be coming soon. I also will have another video on the ride quality of the springs or just how everything's coming together. Okay, so I do appreciate all the support and love that you guys have shown me. It really does mean a lot to me. So continue to subscribe and continue to follow me on Instagram and for more tips and videos and things like that. All right, y'all be easy, take it easy.